The Raiders just made a bold move and cleared serious space right before adding fresh talent. You won't believe who they let go and who's coming in next. Stick around, hit like, and tell me in the comments what you think about all this. Raiders cut 6 players with haul of new draft picks. The Las Vegas Raiders added 4 new players on Friday, the second day of the 2025 NFL Draft. Ahead of it, they cut 6 players to clear room for those picks. Cornerback MJ Devonshire, wide receiver Ramel Keaton, defensive tackle Tyler Manoa, linebacker Kanai Mauga, linebacker Jackson Mitchell, and running back Isaiah Spiller. The Raiders were active, making 2-day 2 trades and adding 4 players in the second and third rounds. TCU wide receiver Jack Beck, Iowa State cornerback Darian Porter, Texas Tech offensive guard Caleb Rogers, and William & Mary offensive tackle Charles Grant. The Raiders could still add to the defensive line on day 3 of the NFL Draft. Sports Illustrated's Daniel Flick wrote, "Scouting reports on all 4 players selected. Beck, the 6'1", 214-pound Beck, is a physical, well-built receiver with reliable hands and standout ball skills. He's a quality ball tracker downfield and is comfortable working over the middle. Beck can play inside and outside, and while he's not sudden or explosive after the catch, he's tough to bring down due to his strength, balance, body control, and feel for space. Beck isn't a loose or twitchy mover when entering or exiting breaks, but his physicality at the catch point helps him finish. He projects well as a reliable possession receiver in the middle of a receiver room. Porter has a safe floor. As a standout special teamer, as he blocked 4 punts in his 6-year career at Iowa State and impressed as a gunner. Porter ran a 4.30 40-yard dash, and his blend of size, speed, fluidity, and range creates an enticing projection at corner, where he started for the first time collegiately in 2024. His footwork and route recognition need improvement, as does his strength, tackling, and ability to contain in run support. But Porter should be able to make plays on special teams while he develops as a corner. Rogers. Across 4 years at Texas Tech, Rogers started games at every offensive line spot except center, though most of his work was at tackle. In addition to his versatility, the 6'5", 312-pounder's profile features strong hands, anchor ability in pass protection, and quality movement skills in space to climb and pull. Rogers isn't overly quick in tight quarters and may struggle against speed rushers. He doesn't generate much push off the ball as a run blocker, and leverage will be an issue for him inside. He should start his pro career as a reserve lineman who can provide relief at multiple spots. Grant fires off the ball and will be a strong fit for zone rushing teams due to his proficiency climbing to the second level and attaching himself to linebackers. He has fluid hips and can seal rushing lanes. In pass protection, Grant's quick feet and length offer a high ceiling, but his punch timing, pad level, and anchor ability are still progressing, and he may struggle early against power rushers. SI grade for Raiders Charles Grant pick. The Las Vegas Raiders could use some help on the offensive line, so they drafted William & Mary offensive lineman Charles Grant with the 99th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Sports Illustrated gave the pick an A. Grant is a small school talent with big-time upside. At 6'5" and 311 pounds, he has room to fill out, but also excellent measurables, including an arm length of 34.34 inches. Grant started 41 games in his collegiate career, but there remain legitimate questions about playing against better competition, along with a lack of bulk, wrote Matt Verderame. Per SI scout Daniel Flick, Grant fires off the ball and will be a strong fit for zone rushing teams due to his proficiency climbing to the second level and attaching himself to linebackers. He has fluid hips and can seal rushing lanes. In pass protection, Grant's quick feet and length offer a high ceiling, but his punch timing, pad level, and anchor ability are still progressing, and he may struggle early against power rushers. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein wrote, "Highly consistent, performer with elite length and better technique than many prospects coming from a higher level of competition." Grant played with both urgency and positioning in William & Mary's zone-heavy approach, but he needs to add bulk and improve his pad level to play with the drive and anchor needed as a pro. The former high school wrestler utilizes a bag of tricks with his protection approach and possesses adequate core strength to absorb a speed-to-power pass rush. He could develop into a solid pro as either a guard or tackle if he cleans up issues with hand usage. Per Pro Football Focus, Grant is a late bloomer who didn't step on a football field until his junior year of high school. His background as an all-state high school wrestler gives him an edge up front that he often uses to his advantage. Grant is quick and powerful on his feet with the ability to get to any spot in the run game. He also sets up and anchors well when presented with an opposing bull rush. While he could play a bit more in control in space and needs to refine his hand technique in pass protection, the true question for Grant is how he will adjust to NFL competition after spending all 5 of his collegiate seasons at the FCS level. Top Day 3 options for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders have added 5 new players through the 2025 NFL Draft, and they have the opportunity to add more on Day 3. Below is each pick the Raiders have left in the draft. Round 4, number 108. Round 4, number 135. Round 5, number 14. Round 6, number 180. Round 6, number 213. Round 6, number 215. Round 7, number 222. Who should the Raiders spend those picks on? We consult Trevor Sikkema's Pro Football Focus Big Board to figure out who the best remaining options are, taking into account the Silver and Black's biggest needs. QB Sheeter Sanders, Colorado. Sikkema. Sanders may be below average in stature, in arm talent compared to NFL quarterbacks, but he plays the game cleanly, takes care of the football, and is tough as nails with ice in his veins under pressure. Edge Braden Swinson, LSU. Sikkema. Swinson didn't become a full-time starter until his final season, but in his current form, he shows very active hands and a good understanding of rushing the passer to yield consistently high pass rush win rates. If he continues to get stronger defending the run, he can become a starting 3 to 4 edge player with impact pass rush potential. LB Chris Paul Jr., Ole Miss. Sikkema. Paul needs to add some mass to his frame, but he can eventually become a starting will linebacker in the league, thanks to his athleticism and intelligence. LB Jeffrey Bassa, Oregon. Sikkema. Bassa is an intriguing former safety who now has a home at the linebacker level. Despite his lower weight for the position, he is not shy about making contact or doing dirty work. He is a smooth mover but does lack some twitch, which can be mitigated with continued improvement in anticipation. A vocal leader at Oregon, he could be a nice coverage linebacker in any scheme. DT Joshua Farmer, Florida State. Sikkema. Farmer is still a budding defensive lineman even as an upperclassman. With some improved anticipation and technique, he can be a starting caliber pass rusher, although he must have a higher floor as a run defender to get on the field consistently. But you are Tez Johnson, Oregon. Sikkema. Johnson won't be on every team's radar due to his outlier measurables, but he wins in just about every way he can despite physical limitations. He brings an added level of competitiveness that coaches will want to have around. Raiders address another significant need on Day 2 of draft. The Las Vegas Raiders needed to add as much talent as possible during the first 2 days of what is considered to be a very deep class of draftees. The Raiders walked away with talented players at positions of need on both sides. Las Vegas's roster had significant holes entering the draft, and it still does. However, they have added multiple players who should immediately improve their roster. After selecting Ashton Jeanty in the first round, the Raiders completed multiple trades that secured more draft capital. After trading the 37th and 143rd picks to the Houston Texans in exchange for the 48th, 98th, and 135th picks in the draft, the Raiders traded the 48th overall pick to the Houston Texans in exchange for the 58th and 99th overall picks in the draft. The Raiders collected 5 picks in the top 100. With the 58th overall pick, they selected wide receiver Jack Beck. Las Vegas used the 63rd pick to select cornerback Darian Porter from Iowa State. The talented cornerback has many traits the Raiders believe will be beneficial. At 6'3", Porter has long arms and top-end speed, which should help him hold his own early in his career. The Raiders will likely lean on him immediately. Las Vegas is thin at cornerback after losing multiple cornerbacks leading up to the draft. The Raiders lost cornerback Nate Hobbs in free agency, then parted ways with Jack Jones shortly after. They added Eric Stokes in free agency and have Jacorian Bennett on the roster. Both cornerbacks are talented but come with red flags. Bennett established himself as one of the better cornerbacks in the league last season before suffering a season-ending injury. While talented, Bennett and Stokes' injury history is undoubtedly cause for concern, especially for a subpar group of cornerbacks. Last season, The Raiders' defensive backfield was ravaged by injuries. This was something the Raiders had to take into consideration entering the draft after letting Jones go from an already thin group of cornerbacks. The Raiders have strategically added to each of their most pressing needs. Las Vegas entered the draft with running back, cornerback, and wide receiver as its top needs. They drafted one of each while also adding additional draft picks. John Spytek and the Raiders are having the productive draft they desperately needed. Porter graded high at the NFL draft and should be a solid addition for the Raiders. Man, the Raiders are cooking this draft, cleaning house and stacking talent like crazy. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. Smash that like button and drop a comment telling me which rookie you're hyped about.